Storm Orlene has joined us in the Eastern Pacific. This is your latest update, valid September 30th, 2022, on Tropical Storm Orlene, which is expected to become a significant hurricane before impacting Mexico around the Matzalan area. There is a lot of uncertainty with the track forecast. You can be diving into it in depth in this video, so make sure you stick around to the end. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. Make sure to leave a like on the video while you're at it. Tell me how we can improve in the comment section down below. But you can see Orlene really is starting to pack itself up right now. It's looking pretty decent for a low-end tropical storm, and it could look even better very shortly as well with what looks to be a developing inner eye wall. Here's a forecast track map for Tropical Storm Orlene, currently with winds of 50 miles an hour, their pressure of 997 millibars, 10-minute sustained winds of 80 kilometers an hour at 15.4 degrees north, 106.5 degrees west, moving west-northwest at 12 miles an hour, that is 10 knots. At 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're expecting a peak of 105 miles per hour from this storm, a landfall intensity of 90 miles an hour around or just north of Matzalan at this stage, in line with where the National Hurricane Center has taken the storm. But you can see a lot of uncertainty with where this storm's going to be tracking. That cone really does widen up around the day 3 and beyond sort of area. It's all dependent on where this storm turns and how hard it makes its turn in around 24 hours time. So post 24 hours we'll have a much better idea about where this storm is going to make landfall. Some of the models actually not calling for a landfall in Mexico. They're taking it up past Cabo San Lucas around the Baja California area and just dissipating it out to sea. Others taking it right into Manzanillo. So a massive range of uncertainty with this system. It wasn't really predicted by the models until fairly recently, but here we are now with another tropical storm in the Eastern Pacific. Multi-model diagnostic comparison, you can see most major models calling for a Category 1 to Category 2 strength peak, some going high-end Category 2. Certainly valid. Wind shear will be remaining low for the next sort of 24 to 36 hours, but beyond that it's going to absolutely skyrocket up to around 30 knots before landfall. Sea surface temperatures looking really sharp. In fact, they will increase upon landfall from around 28 degrees to what looks to be nearly 31 degrees Celsius. Mid-level humidity will be tumbling down pretty steadily from about 80% right now down to maybe around 60 and at times even lower percentage as it enters a drier environment. You can see with the forecast track map here pretty low certainty, that's for sure, with just one model, this just being the GFS ensembles. There's a lot of uncertainty with where this system's going to be going. It's certainly going to be on a weakening trend before landfall, and basically as soon as it enters this part of the that part of the world, it will definitely be on a terminal weakening trend due to an increase in wind shear. However, we just don't know where it's going to be making landfall, so stick around to the Force 13 channel because we will be bringing you the latest on this storm. Here's a look what the GFS has to say. A very strong storm materializing out of this, in fact up towards 100 knots actually, so that's major hurricane status there. It's not off the cards, but it's not got much time to really get there before wind shear starts to increase, and once it makes that turn, wind shear will almost certainly start to increase terminally. After that, you can see the remnants of Newton try and spin up again into a tropical storm. That's certainly verifiable. The National Hurricane Center, however, haven't tagged that, and another storm south of Mexico tries and wraps itself up as well, which might long-term threaten Manzanillo as a weak tropical storm. But one thing's for sure, the Eastern Pacific is not saying goodnight yet. The season is far from over. Here's a look at some satellite imagery. Oh no, we're back onto the models again. Here's a look at what the GFS is saying. Once again, we'll just play the run through one more time. You can see down towards the southern side of your screen as well, another storm tries and whips itself up, but that's way too far south for it to really be verifiable. Now let's take a look at the IR satellite imagery, puffing up some pretty decent convection, that's for sure, with lightning in the center of it, hinting at a possible developing eye wall. Convection now touching around minus 90 degrees Celsius. That's very cold, but expected this time of the year as well as we enter the latter season. You can see it's maybe starting to organize itself into a prawn or shrimp-like pattern. That's what you want to see with an intensifying typhoon, and if you want a classic example of that, just take a look at Surigay of 2021. That had a classic prawn-like structure. Here's a look at the visible satellite imagery again as the sun sets over the storm. A defined lower level center really does look to be there. It's no longer really sheared to tears either. It was heavily sheared earlier on, but it's now looking pretty sharp on that front. It's a pretty small system as well. You can also see the remnants of Newton firing up some pretty significant thunderstorms down on the bottom left of your screen as well. That's certainly got a chance to reform into something. Maybe it'll be a new tropical storm. I'm not sure about the state of the circulation on that system. I'll have to check up on that a little bit later. Here's a look at the water vapor satellite imagery. Very decent mid-level humidity totals, around 80 to 90% right now, and there's a lot of moisture in the environment where this storm is. But where there isn't moisture is where the storm's going. You can see it's going to be heading into a more hostile environment post 24 hours, higher amounts of wind shear. It's certainly in an environment of nearly zero wind shear right now. You can see that by the clouds just spreading in every which way in the outflow pattern with the storm. But once it starts heading further north, dry air will become a massive problem for the system. Sea surface temperatures as well won't be helping it, but just before landfall, a pocket of 32 degrees Celsius, so that's something we're going to have to watch, because it could fire up a pretty decent bout of thunderstorms just ahead of the storm. That's the latest information that we have on Tropical Storm Orlene. There'll be more updates in this system. There's also going to be live coverage starting at 15Z. That's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the now developing Hurricane Ian situation for the Carolinas. It's going to be a very serious storm there as well, so make sure you stick around for that. That will be brought to you. That's the latest that we have on Tropical Storm Orlene, and we'll catch you on the next storm. Goodbye.